Welcome back, you beautiful people, for episode 3 of The Void. Well, actually, it is Doomworld, but details, we'll get on with it. So, last episode we got attacked by 3 raids. Last raid was against a bunch of tribals, but these tribals, we managed to knock most of them out, which is super good for us because we're going to be able to recruit them, and also Squint has inspired recruitment. Now there is this cheeky chappy right here who seems to have the best stats. He's a careful shooter, he's energetic and he's pretty. He's got 12 in crafting, which is something that we're going to need. His shooting is pretty poor, his melee's terrible, and eventually he might be an alright miner, and he has decent intellectual. This guy here we can't actually click, he's bugging out for some reason. And then this guy has decent enough stats, but unfortunately he is a slowpoke, which won't be a massive issue because what we're going to be able to do is we'll just put implants in him and that'll bring it up. He has got temperature tolerant, but then he also has heat intolerant, so that just mitigates itself, I guess. So basically he has -3 minimum comfortable temperature, which is decent enough. And then we've got these guys over here who are decent but not great. So what we're going to do is here, and then we're going to put straight to recruit. The other guys all have it set to reduce resistance, so given time we are going to be able to break these guys down. This is going to be the main prison. We do have a nutrient paste dispenser in there. We're going to put a table in. Actually, whilst we're at it, we'll put the table in now. This will get expanded a little bit in the future, but we're just going to have it set so they can feed themselves. So if for whatever reason we can't get to them, they aren't just going to go and starve to death. So this here is going to need to be taken away and destroyed, and then once we've got all the people out of there, we can move them into the second prison or recruit them first, and then this will just be our main prison. This we won't use, and that's just going to mean that we're going to be able to build a better prison facility here. Trade-off being, it does mean that if they have a prison break, they're all going to run away at the same time or try to escape, so ideally we can stay on top of that. We do have some spare beds made up just for when we start recruiting. This means we are going to be able to get them into a okay room. The rooms aren't great at the moment, but it is going to keep the colonists' mood better, which obviously is what we want. Vincent has inspired fighting for the next 8 days, which is pretty useful for us. And what we will need to do is we'll need to go find Squint, and then he is our main warden anyway, so that is not going to be a problem. And then once Cornetto, who we're going to call Cornetto when we get it across, he will then change across into, well yeah, we'll just change the name. I'm not even sure why I overcomplicated that. That was a bit much on my side. Get some more floors in. If we can just do the doorways, I leave the doorways generally to last because they don't actually affect how pretty the room is, but it just stops us tracking data around the base. So, okay, he has joined. So we go here, name, okay, we don't need to shout that. Cornetto. I can't smell, I know. Perk of being dyslexic. So I found out I was dyslexic when I was like probably about 5. Like me and my brother were in the kitchen, he turns around to me and goes, "Can you smell gas?" I look at him confused and I'm just like, "I can't smell my own name." And she's like, "Oh yeah. Yeah, I might be dyslexic actually." But details. We'll bring the speed up a little bit. We don't have too much going on at the moment. We have just been raided, which is good. We're just going to sort those rooms. This here isn't a big issue. We've got the research lab going, which we will need to do a bit more work on. So we've got geothermal coming, then bio refining into solar panels into scalable solar roofs, which is going to be pretty sweet. Here we're going to put 2 biofuel refineries, and then we can turn those people into biofuel, and then we'll have a second section here where we're going to be able to smelt down any iron slag, well metal slag, and any of their fabrics, so any of their clothes that are smeltable we can. And then with the Mechanoids Vanilla Extended mod, we will have this thing later on which we can put textiles into, and it breaks the textiles down into their core components, so we won't be like wasting much materials. But in the meantime we will just be burning it because we won't be able to stockpile it because we are going to get attacked a lot and we're going to lose a lot of things. So we've got a new recruit, we've got cargo pods that have crashed with some weapons, and it's a uranium longsword and a JIAMR, which is 55 damage, 100% armor penetration. really good range. It's basically like a heavy anti-material rifle, which we'll give to Cornetto. And we'll get that on hold urgently. We'll send someone out. We'll get Flo to get that straight away, and she'll get that when she's ready. Then we have a transport pod crash. So that's Tomboy. And what's your stats like? Misogynist and frail, who basically can't do anything. Yeah, no, you're useless. We're going to leave you to die, and then we'll turn you into some chem fuel later. Vincent and Squint seem to be getting on quite nicely still. This area here, we will need to put sterile tiles in once we get a chance, but we're not quite at that tech yet. And then Cornetto has the debuff from Tainted Apparel. But what we do have is we have the Durable Appeal mod, which means that your Tainted Appeal gets repaired over time. I think it's at the end of the day, so when the autosave kicks in, then all of your clothing goes back up to 100%. Because, well, there isn't really a way to repair your clothing, and generally, if you're in a survival situation, being able to repair your clothes is a fairly high priority. Recall will raid you within the upcoming 12 hours. They're attacking immediately. That's pretty wordy. Cool. How are you doing? Okay, ready to recruit. Awesome. And what were your stats like? Yep, going to be useful. And the rest of them, not too great. Okay, so we have Takeo. Let's join. So I think that's both of the beds there, so we're going to need to extend that. I think what we'll do as this gets bigger, well, as we expand more, we're going to expand the rec room and the dining room down. We'll still have the runway here so they can get in and out. Then we're going to be able to put TV and more stuff in. So we're going to have the rec room, which is also going to be the dining room. We're going to make it look absolutely mint. So people are going to get quite a few little mood buffs from that. Psychic Sue female has come in as well, which is good. And we'll give Takeo the heavy weapon. To be fair, it's not that we got good kit, but we got some alright stuff. So we have some survival rifles. We've got a good one over here. And the stats on those, 16, 20, good accuracy, acceptable rate of fire, but not a good bit of kit by any stretch of the imagination. Does have stab scar on the head, so Cornetto does, which won't be the end of the world. Actually, we'll change Takeo's weapon out for the LMG, just for the rate of fire. And then we have Recall coming in. Nothing too fancy on them. They've got, well, they've all got guns, but nothing that we need to worry too much about. So we get everyone else into their defensive positions in the meantime. Our guys do have energy shields, so they can stay in the fight quite a lot longer. Takeo doesn't, and he doesn't even have any good armor either, so he's not going to die, but he might get tagged a couple times unnecessarily. And that has been cleared up quite nicely. One survivor, pyromaniac, psychopath, muscular, nudist and cannibal. With a bunch of things he can't do, so that sounds like a recipe for disaster, so we're just going to leave him to die there. And then, as always, get turned into chem fuel a little bit later on. We'll extend the growing area once more. Not that it's going to be super necessary. And Void. Seekers have been overwhelmed during a raid. Slayers have been captured by Void. So this is something you've got to be careful of with Void's faction playing. They take over so much of the map like super quick. Which means that when you start getting to the end game and you're starting to clear areas out, you're mainly coming up against Void. And he's a bit of a tough cookie. What we will do is we'll start growing some Psychoid. We're going to be able to turn this into, well, like flake and stuff like that. So we're going to be able to sell that. That's going to give us a decent amount of money. So it's going to be an extra form of income. It's not going to make us millions, but at the moment we're going to need all the money coming in that we can. We'll put some lighting by the bed so they're happy. Put light behind the table, and it should keep them pretty chill. But saying about that, we are actually running quite low on rice. but we've got a spud harvest about to come in, and then we got a second rice coming in behind that, so we don't need to worry too much about that. And then last episode I was saying about like the mechanoid farming machines. They require quite a lot of micromanagement, so I think we will just stay away from them. I was having a little play, I just want to see how they worked, and yeah, they're good, but they're not great. Whereas with what we're going to be doing, having to like focus on micromanaging just like the farm crops kind of doesn't seem worth it to me. Just having farmers is normally quite good, and then considering our guys move quicker than most people anyway and have higher consciousness, it just all a bit unnecessary. Alright, sweet. So we had that manhunter pack came in, so they're all done. So they were the ones that were chasing off the wolf. He came in and we got rid of him pretty much straight away. I should have seen who had the flu. So we've got quite a few scars, but thankfully one of the mods allows you to remove the scars through like a medical procedure, so they won't start causing a problem later on. Alternatively, we can always get bionics on stuff like that and put them in. Cornetto's in a bad mood. Why are you in a bad mood, mate? Disturbed sleep, slept in heat, awful hospital, witness allies death. Yeah. In all seriousness, I think that's actually pretty valid why he's having a bit of a temper tantrum. So whilst we're at it, we're going to expand down here, get this ready, put a door in there and there. Strip that out, and then we can just start expanding our rec room right now whilst we have the time. So we've got a lot lighting in the corner. It's going to need a little bit more marble in the floor. And then we're going to have to redo the wiring as well so it goes around. Oh, it's already done. Awesome. I'm a clever cookie at times, me. I'm really not, but details. Flooring's in. Power's been removed. No point doubling that side up because that's going to be taken down anyway. And then we got some cargo pod weapons coming in. Uranium glaive, not super interested in that. Okay, so we've got spuds up there, that's good. They are running low on food, and then Recor has another raid coming in. So pretty soon we are going to continuously just get pounded by attacks. So either we can get ahead of the curve, so that means like more colonists, and then we can actually get like some firepower down before we get completely overrun, or we get overrun, but we're also going to need better weapons. Geothermal is good, but is it worth it this early on? I think we're going to be better off with the biorefueling first. Well, biofuel refining instead of mixing words together. Geothermal last. And what we do want is we want the heavy weapons. There we go. So once we get the machining table, so what do we need? Smithing, machining, gunsmithing, into blowback, into gas operation. Once we can get gas operation, we should be able to hold quite nicely, because we're going to be able to get the heavy, it's like the heavy combat rifle, and that can do 70 damage a shot with I think 40% armor penetration. So it absolutely wrecks through centipedes and things with heavy armor. It doesn't have the highest rate of fire, so against tribals it's not too great, but with the amount of damage it can basically kill tribal in one hit if it hits in most places. Shoot them in the leg, their leg's blown off. Shoot them in the arm, their arm's blown off. So even if you don't kill them on the first shot, they're going to bleed out pretty quick. So So we've got new lovers. Cornetto tried to romance Owen by implying good things about his honesty. Owen was attracted and now is Cornetto's lover. So where's Owen's bed? So I think what we'll do is we'll put the double bed up there so we don't need to move it again. And let's make it out of marble just so it's prettier. Because if there's two of them in there, we might as well make it a little bit nicer and homely. Now, I'll be interested to see what the comfort of a wooden bed compared to... So it's a good quality marble bed. 97% comfort, well, rest effectiveness, comfort 0.84. Single bed, made of wood. Okay, so it's still the same. Alright, no biggie there, that's good. Okay, 2 defensive positions. Eddie's down. And also once we get embrasures, if we put them in the middle, like this defensive setup becomes absolutely insane. Our ground runner's under attack, but if he dies we can always just chop him up into food. Gifted is always nice. Transhumanist is also really good because we're going to be using a lot of prosthetics. Psychopath is also good because they're not bothered by things. Resilient, nimble, poor hygiene. Poor hygiene's not great, increases his chance of getting food poisoned. But if we can just have a decent kitchen setup, that won't be, yeah, like, easily outweighed. What was Sega up to? Nearsighted, Gormant, Brawler and Clumsy. Nah, you can die, mate. Awesome. Everyone back to normal. Unforbid all items. Ignore and then speed up to 2. And the ground runner survived. And has the flu. Molotov cocktails, flamers, shotgun. Nothing, yet again, great. We're going to get pretty lucky when the Blackwater risks come in, because they will be showing up in power armor now, or at least a couple of them. And we can take that power armor if we can knock them out, and then we can wear it. And power armor is going to help keep us alive a little bit longer than what we're doing at the moment. And then prisoner, yep, 53% recruitment chance, 29 resistance. So, yeah, again, nothing too crazy, shouldn't take too long. And we're going to expand the farm just once more, because we seem to be ahead at the moment, so we might as well keep it that way. Once we start falling behind on the harvests, then we can start like scaling it back. But I don't think we're going to run into too much issue from just having too many supplies and crops. Yeah, again, that is another nice thing about playing with like threat scaling with time instead of threat scaling with wealth. You just have to like try to keep moving forward and get ahead of the curve as quickly as you can, and then stay ahead, otherwise you run into a little bit of trouble. So as Cornetto wanted that bed. And who's your lover again, mate? Owen. So and then Cornetto had their own bed now. Then we can deconstruct that one. Strip all of this out. Change the walls across into granite, just so they won't burn down in case we run into any sort of like pyromaniacs running about, or just general things like to burn in Rimworld. Lock the door, we don't need it, and strip that wall in the sec. Sweet, transport pod crash. Boy, what is your stats? Annoying voice, transhumanist, quick sleeper, poor hygiene, cold tolerant, and pyromaniac. Yeah, no mate, that's not a thing. Not a thing at all. Allow all forbidden items. This we will need to sort real soon. Otherwise we're just going to end up getting food poisoning. That's actually a good point. We go details. And we put minimum allowed skill onto 8. And that is like the cut-off point for getting food hygiene through incompetent cooks. soon as Cornetto's up, he can grab the gun. Actually, what's you're shooting at? 1. We'll give him an SMG because it's got a higher rate of fire. If it's got a higher rate of fire, he can get more shots off, and if he can get some more shots off, his skills will go up quicker. That's the plan. Then once he gets decent, obviously we'll change it across to a better weapon. All floored off, we'll start bringing the walls back on this side. Okay, a little bit too big. We did have a roof collapse. So we'll bang this into the middle. Then we are good to go again. Put some lighting around the outside. Owen just overdosed. How are you doing? Okay, pristine ruins. We can't risk leaving the base. Farm traders have shown up. And it looks like Owen's going to be okay. Slept in heat, decent barracks, awful hospital, innocent prisoner died. How hot is it in here? 37, that's fine. Biofuel is done. So once the biofuel starts going, we are just going to be able to sell like crazy amounts of chem fuel. So that's going to be like one of our main sources of income. So we go here, we go refine chem fuel from corpse, do forever, details, limit the radius, and allow human-like corpses. And then we have animal corpses off other than insect. So that's the first one. Then we go second, do forever, limit the radius, and then we go take fresh off, and then that will allow us to use rotten. Copy both of those, paste that onto there, and we are just going to be able to start breaking through that in no time. We put a second door in behind it, and then that is going to be used as our storage area for all of the clothes that are just going to end up getting tossed to one side, because we can't really do anything with that at the moment other than burn them. Okay, Owen died. Right. Drop temperature here down to we'll drop the temperature down and hopefully we get a mechanite injection. Health dispenser. Probably should have used that. Right, we should have read that. That's actually an awesome bit of kit. And then we'll just put a sarcophagus in there. Make it a marble as we have some of that. And then hopefully we can keep him refrigerated long enough. And someone doesn't burn him, that'd be great. So we'll just go here, human-like, and then we'll turn colonist corpses off. Cool. And now he's not going to get burnt. Toko's got that going, sweet. Drop that down to -18. Flo, can you build that? No. Vincent, where are you, mate? Vincent, go talk to Taylor. You can have my sheep, I don't want them. I need my emergency food and my ration packs. We're not freezing any meat at the moment, so that will go off anyway. Potatoes and rice are fine. You can have the berries. And we want those. Cool. Okay, looks like it might hold at a cold temperature. Okay, we don't have enough components. We'll get Flo to finish that. And then storage, human-like, allow colonist. And then Flo, take him. very annoying. Okay, so long as the temperature holds, we can resurrect Owen a little bit later on. And I didn't even think about the UAC health dispenser. If we just zapped him with that, then that would have been pretty decent. But does mean we can give Takeo the plasma cannon. Well, actually, what they call them at the moment. Yeah, plasma gun. Cornetto's been all mopey for some reason. Cornless died, isn't back, slept in heat darkness. Oh yeah, you two were together, weren't you? Yeah, I can see why you're upset. That makes sense. We don't have any more components at the moment, so we can't do much about that. Looks like we've got some in here, so we go mine these out. And Havaganders. We've got cargo pods of apparel come down. Anything good? Not really great, but usable. And then we've got some more components. So we're going to be able to get some cooling in. And then we've got the Seekers coming in, who I think should be the Ferals. So we had a roof collapse, we sorted that. We got biorefueling done. Owen's dead. We got an aura coming. We got solar panels. Seekers are coming, and Cornetto's on the food binge. What's up with you? Okay, going to sort outfits. And no tainted apparel. This is what I don't get. Like, people like put it on and they'll be like, oh, it's tainted, why am I wearing it? Be like, well, you chose to wear it. Your fault, your problem, you deal with it. Battery's still pretty well charged, so we don't need solar panels just yet. Ground runner seems to be having a nice time, and we're going to need to start looking at getting some cleaning done. Almost got our first cotton harvest. That's at 96%, so tomorrow we should be able to get that. With that, we're going to be able to build the billiards table and the poker table, which is going to keep people a little bit happier. Scalable solar roofs. Hopefully that research will allow me to remove the roofs, so then we're not going to get infestations, because last thing we need is infestations whilst being raided, because then that is pretty much GG right there. Not assigned to crafting. Not assigned to crafting. And not assigned to crafting, okay. Put that as free because we don't want it as a priority, but if they can do it, that'd be pretty good. It's all low skill stuff. And let's pump these bodies out. Relationship. Sternberg. Nina. Wife. Okay, hopefully he doesn't have a mental break and like try to start killing people in the prison once we realise we've just killed his wife. Extreme mental break. We'll leave Takeo back there, we'll take these three, and they should, by themselves, be enough to deal with this. Nice thing about having shields and power armor and fancy weapons against people that are basically using pipe guns. Pigeons. Good stats, other than volatile and frail, which isn't a good mix. I will leave Nina alive, just so he doesn't lose his mind. And water's what you got. Chemical fascination, quick sleeper, unconvincing, fragile, night owl, xenophobe. Yeah, it's not looking good for you. Actually, we got a ship chunk here, which we might be able to break down. So we'll get Flow to break down the ship chunk. That'll give us some components, because we are running low on them at the moment. So if that scalable solar roof is what I think it is, we'll then mine into here, and then we can strip the roof off. We'll get the processing unit put into here, so the forges, and we can, well, the smelters, and then we can just break everything down. So we're going to get like extra plasteel, a bit of fabric, metal, occasionally get a component and some uranium, which is always going to be pretty good. And Cornetto, what are you bringing to the table? So you're our crafter, so we're going to put you on number 1. Hopefully been doing that will make you feel a little bit better about everything that has happened. And then we're also going to need to research meat hooks, so we can take all of this, all of those bodies, and then drop them into here as well once we have space. At the moment it's not a massive issue. Flo is digging at granite. Cool, so we can cancel that and that because we know it's not a vein. And then once they start coming across, that is a bunch more components. With the components, you always need components. That's kind of just the way of Rimworld, but we don't need a crazy amount right now because we're not building too much. So not a crazy amount has been happening. We got attacked a couple times, but what we do have is we got the body refining set up. We've lost a colonist. We've got the prison set. We've expanded the recreation room slash dining room and turned a bunch of things into granite for extra protection. And as with that, I need to bring the episode to the end. So thank you for watching episode 3 of Doomworld, and I'll catch you on the next one.